We're going to call the meeting of the Finance Committee to order. Mr. Fon, could you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Richard Bootery.
Here.
Mr. Harold Adams.
Here.
Ms. Robin Bell. Here. Mr. Ray Bernard.
Here.
Mr. Clyde DePrance.
Here.
Ms. Marion Petito. Here.
All right. Item A on new business to consider authorizing advertisement for proposals for a student information system and assessment platform and take appropriate action. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We're just asking for permission tonight to advertise, to put out an RFP for consideration by the district to replace our current student information system and our assessment piece in a single software.
Any board questions, comments?
I was just have to make a motion.
Oh, go ahead. Motion by Mr. Duplantis, second by Mr. Petito. Board comments? Questions?
What advantages will all that encompass by doing this?
Right now, I don't know all the advantages because we don't have proposals from all the companies that could potentially submit them. Once we have those proposals, then we'll be able to answer that question just a little bit more as to what they have to offer.
Any other board comments? Any public comments, questions? All right, we'll vote. All right, passes unanimously. Next item, 3 reports. Item A, to receive monthly budget to actual report for the period through October 2022. Ms. Ortiz.
Sure. We're reporting on 2 funds tonight, the general fund and the 1995 sales tax salary support fund. In the general fund, we've collected to date 29.4% of our budgeted revenues, or approximately $30 million. $25 million of that is attributed to the state MFP funding, and about $3.5 million is sales tax. We have collected a lot more than that in sales tax, but that is the piece that is a part of the general fund, the $3.5 million. And then we have spent or obligated 81.5% of the expenditures that are budgeted for this year, which equates to about $116.7 million. In the general fund. In the sales tax salary restricted fund, we have received 19.2% of the revenues, or approximately $3 million. That is, of course, sales tax. And then we have expended or obligated 94% of the expenditures, but that is only $5,000. Very few expenditures, because that's how that fund exists, strictly to support salaries and benefits, and eventually gets transferred over to the general fund. Currently, our sales tax collections are still running higher than they were in the previous year, which is currently about $2 million higher than this same time last year. And our total collections through October are just over $10 million. Ad valorem taxes we still are receiving some residual payments from the 2021 assessment, but they're very small. We expect our first substantial payment on the 2022 assessments in January. On the expenditure side, we have no concerns at this point for the expenditures remaining within the budget levels that we've established for the year, but we will continue to monitor those closely and report those to you. Any questions?
Any questions of Ms. Ortiz? Okay. We'll move on to item B, to receive the financial report on Hurricane Ida response and recovery today.
Yes, sir. When you look at the report, we have expended $62.2 million and obligated an additional $26 million. And we currently have in requisition process $31.7 million, which represents the beginning of the replacement of some of our contents in the buildings that were damaged. So that leads us to a total of $88.38 million to date. When you look at the second part of that page on the second chart, a little bit, there is a mistake on that chart, so I want to call your attention to it so we can correct it. And that is under the actual inflows for FEMA reimbursements. $14.9 million is what we collected through the end of September. We have collected an additional $23.1 million in October. And you'll see that reflected in the final chart on this page, which is the report that we provide to Hancock Whitney Bank on a monthly basis. I failed to change the reimbursement on the first chart. So I just want you to know that we've collected a total of $38.1 million. So looking at that, we still have $40 million of our hurricane recovery loan that is sitting with Hancock Whitney Bank. And looking at what our expenditures are sometime early in 2023, we will probably have to draw down those funds.
I mean, I know this is a fluid, and it changes almost daily. Do we anticipate having to borrow anymore?
Oh, I can't imagine that.
Very good.
I'm answering for her, but we've done the math on this quite a few times, and you know, we're happy with the speed that we got paid from FEMA, but remember that the $38 million that we got paid from FEMA, we submitted rather quickly. These expenditures happened right after the storm. This is not construction reimbursement. This is mitigation and emergency response reimbursement, right? So this is the money that we got back to pay for the dehumidifiers, the temporary roofs, and all of the stuff that have to happen immediately. We have not even begun to submit for reimbursement all the stuff that the gentlemen here are working on right now. So it's going to be a long process. So that kind of helps in that it's spread out, and that chunk's not going to happen all at once. Well, I think the construction money to answer all that would be enough based on
the estimates we currently have.
good.
And we have received our insurance reimbursement. Okay.
right. So add 20 million to the 38 million we got from FEMA in order to respond to the storm in aggregate.
And that's shown in that second chart in the middle of the page. You'll see under the inflows, the 20 million from the insurance. You're just above the 14 million.
Any other questions, comments? All right. Being none,